Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees to our weekly Bhakti Vaibhav class. So, in the last week, we have been discussing from chapter 11, wherein being requested by Vidura, who was eager to understand the time. What is time? What are the divisions and subdivisions of time? That was the inquiry by Vidura in the 10th chapter. In the 10th chapter, Maitreya briefly summarized what is time. Now, in this chapter, he is describing the time in detail. So, in order to describe time as a reference to understand for us, he talks about the matter first. The smallest indivisible particle of matter is known as Paramanu, and this entire universe is made up of such kind of Paramanus, as per Vaisheshika philosophy also. And all the Paramanus combined together, which exist throughout the time of creation, it is called Parammahan matter. Matlab, entire matter which we may see, we may not see in the entire material creation, whatever exists throughout the entire duration of the creation is called Paramamahan matter. So, having stated that, then he says that for the sunlight to pass through one Paramanu is called one Paramanu time, and two Paramanus combined together, it is called one Anu. So, the sunlight, that the time required for the sunlight to pass through one Anu is called one Anu time, and three such Anus combined together is called Trasarenu. So the time required to pass through one Trasarenu is called one Trasarenu time. So like that, based on the matter, the time is defined. So time is in relation to matter. Similarly, the time for which the matter exists, the time for which the universe exists, the creation exists, is called Paramamahan time. That is Brahma's 100 years. So in that way, from the smallest division of time to the biggest possible amount of time has been indicated in this chapter. So then Sukadeva Goswami starts talking about Truti, Nimisha, Veda, Lagu, like there are so many things. Eventually comes to one human day. In one human day, there are 8 yamas or 8 praharas. So every prahara is about 3 hours. And within each prahara, there could be 6 to 7 nadikas or dandas. So that way, one danda is equal to half an hour. See, in a day, there are 8 praharas. In a prahara, there are 3 hours. And in a prahara, there are 6 gatikas or 6 nadikas. So one nadika would be about 30 minutes. So this is how we can do the back calculation. So you will get the details about Anu, Paramanu, Truti, etc. etc. So then 15 such days combined together is called one Paksha. There are 2 Pakshas within a lunar month, Krishna Paksha and Shukla Paksha. So one lunar month is about 30 days approximately, and that is equal to one full day in the moon planet for the Pitrus. The Pitrus who are living in the moon planet, for them, this our one full month is consisting of 2 Pakshas, Krishna Paksha, Shukla Paksha is their one day. And then the 2 such months make one Rutu, one season. And 6 such months make one Ayana. There are 2 Ayanas, Uttarayana and Dakshinayana. From January 15th to July 15th is called Uttarayana. July 15th to January 15th is called Dakshinayana. So 2 such Ayanas combined together is called one Samvatsara or 1 year. And 2 such Ayanas make one daytime and one night time of the Devatas. That is one full day in the Swargaloka. So in Putruleka, one full day, there one full day is equal to our 1 month. In Swargaloka, their one full day is equal to our 1 full year. So then, so with such kind of years, the Kali Yuga human being can live up to 100 years. That was the lifespan mentioned there. So hearing this, that humans have lifespan of 100 years, our Vidura asks You please tell me about the lifespan of people others who are living in the heavenly planets, Maharloka, Janloka and all. What about their lifespan? Then in order to explain the lifespan of the other people, he talks about the yugas. There are 4 yugas known as Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali. All these 4 yugas combined together will exist for 12,000 Devata years. So here onward the numbers are big. So mostly Sukadeva Goswami uses Devata years only. So the 4 yugas combined together will stay for 12,000 Devata years. So of that, the Satya Yuga will stay for 4 times. Matlab, fourth part of that. Treta Yuga will stay for third part of that. Dwapara Yuga will stay for second part of that. Kali Yuga will stay for one part of that. That means 12,000 into 4 by 10 is equal to Satya Yuga. 12,000 into 3 by 10 is equal to Dwapara Treta Yuga. 12,000 into 2 by 10 is equal to Dwapara Yuga. 12,000 into 1 by 10 is equal to Kali Yuga. So 1 by 10 plus 2 by 10 plus 3 by 10 plus 4 by 10 is equal to 10 by 10. So 1 by 1 by 1. So like that. So 12,000 years are further subdivided into 1200 Kali Yuga, 24 Dwapara Yuga, 36 Treta Yuga, 48 Satya Yuga. So like that, these are their timings. When we use one Devata year is equal to 360 human years. Multiplying that with 360, we'll get Kali Yuga is equal to 4,32,000 years. Dwapara Yuga 2 times, Treta Yuga 3 times, Satya Yuga 4 times, and one Chaturyuga will be 10 times to that. 43,20,000 years or 4.32 million years. That will be the duration of one Chaturyuga. It is also called as one Mahayuga, one Divya Yuga. Different names are there. So 1,000 such Divya Yugas are called as one daytime of Brahma. And 1,000 such Divya Yugas also called as the night of Brahma. So Brahma's daytime is about 1,000 Chaturyugas, night time is about 1,000 Chaturyugas, full day is about 2,000 Chaturyugas. And within one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantaras. So that means in 1,000 Chaturyugas, there are 14 Manvantaras. Then one Manvantara would stay for about 71 Chaturyugas. One Manvantara call would stay for 71 Chaturyugas. So at the end of the each Manvantara, there is a change in universal governance. All the devatas will change. That means devatas live for only one Manvantara period. Their lifespan is one Manvantara. Afterwards, all the devatas who are looking after the universal management, they all will change. So that is indicated. So then, like that, after the 14 Manvantaras, at the end of the day of Brahma, everything that is existing within the universe will be destroyed. And all the living entities will enter into the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu and they will take rest there. The next day morning, Brahma will recreate everything that has been annihilated by Lord Shiva at the end of the previous day and will be maintained by Lord Vishnu throughout the current day. That was the context in which we were discussing in the last class, and we'll continue from there on. Last time we were discussing up to 24-25 verse onwards. We'll continue. So whatever we discussed, they are all there in the previous verses. So beyond Svargaloka, starting from Maharloka, extending up Satyaloka, their daytime is equal to 1,000 Chaturyuga cycles, and their night also equal to 1,000 Chaturyuga cycles, during which Brahma and all the living entities will take rest. So like that. So and at the end of the night, the creation of the planets takes place. Uh, uh, and remains for 14 Manvantaras. This is the daytime. So at the beginning of the day, the creation will be done by Brahma. Whatever we have discussed in the previous chapter, 10th chapter, that is all done by Brahma every day early morning. And that all will stay for the entire day of Brahma. And then, and one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantaras. And each Manvantara extends for 71 Chaturyugas. Yuga also Chaturyuga. Whenever Yuga word is used, Yuga also means one Chaturyuga. When we say Kali Yuga, specifically they mention Kali Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, etc. When they say Yuga, Yuga stands for one complete Chaturyuga. So like that. So then, in each Manvantara, One second. The Manus, the seven sages, the Devatas, Indra, they all appear simultaneously, and the descendants of Manu will appear one after the other, because those who will take responsibility of ruling over the entire Bhumandala, the Bhuloka, they will gradually appear. The kings will gradually appear. The first king of each Manvantara will appear at the beginning of the Manu, and they will live for the entire duration of one Manu period. So that is how all these details have been indicated. So we need to have a kind of understanding of all these things, because that will help us understand what's happening in the Bhagavatam, what was the history of our cosmos. So because we have studied something in our school texts, hearing about stone era, bronze era, silver era, iron era, this era, that era, and then development of the development of the species, the Big Bang, the development of the universe, development of the species, Big Bang theory, and the theory of evolution by Darwin. And then people start learning how to cook, how to construct home, how to stitch clothes, and so this is what we study in the schools. But Bhagavatam talks about the numbers beyond our imagination. So sometimes people ask, are they really, it is like that? Is it like that? Because it all depends on our state of consciousness. The people have difficulty to accept the things mentioned in the Bhagavatam. And those who accept, they say you people are accepting blindly. You don't have any empirical evidence. You don't have any rational behind this kind of things. So many things are there. So one should be careful, because if unless until we understand it properly, our acceptance does not even convince us whether I may really believe in all these things or not. We also kind of get doubt sometimes. So especially these chapters in the third canto, they are very important chapters. If we understand these chapters thoroughly, our foundations become strong, and then eventually, based on those foundations, our bhakti will become nourishable. Even today morning, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj talking about this entire process of meditation. In essence, everything is helping us focusing on our sadhana, becoming stable and strong of performing our sadhana. All this subject matter will only help us, will only give us inspiration to practice and take our sadhana seriously. So in that way. So yes, someone was speaking in between. I'm sorry to hold you. Please go ahead.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
Yes, Prabhu.
बीच में मुझे आपने कुछ कनेक्शन दिया था 432 लाख ईयर्स जो कलयुग का अवधि है वो
हाँ।
ये हाँ स्वर्गलोक के जो टाइमिंग के अनुसार कुछ मतलब कुछ तो कनेक्शन बता रहे थे, वो मैं स्किप किया प्रभु जी। 12,000 ईयर्स का वो देवता साल के साथ कुछ कनेक्शन था।
See, since the
समझ
year
नहीं
numbers are very big, Sukadeva Goswami tells all the numbers in Devata years. But one Devata year is equal to 360 human years. This conversion we should remember. Because their one day is our 1 year. Their 1 month will be our 30 years. Their 1 year will be our 360 years. So like that. Okay, Prabhuji?
हाँ प्रभु जी, ये 432 लाख ईयर्स का साथ कुछ कनेक्शन था प्रभु जी, देवता
See, why,
मतलब
Prabhuji? See, 1 second. I'll show you that. See, one Chaturyuga is equal to 12,000 Devata years. So one Devata year is equal to 360 human years. So multiply this number with 360. You will get one Chaturyuga in human years. So one Chaturyuga will stay for 4 million 4.32 million human years. 43,20,000 years तक रहते हैं. So इसमें Kalyuga will be 1/10 of this portion. So 1/10 of this will be Kalyuga. So 12,000 into 1/10 will be Kalyuga. 12,000 into 2/10 is Dwapara Yuga. 12,000 into 3/10 is Treta Yuga. 12,000 into 4/10 is Satya Yuga. If you add 1/10 plus 2/10 plus 3/10 plus 4/10, it will be 10 by 10. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 will be 10. So like that.
Okay, thank you.
This is how the divisions are made. Simple. Kali means 1, Dwapara means 2, Treta means 3. Actually, in our text, they don't use so much Satya Yuga. They use Kruta Yuga. Krita means 4 in Sanskrit. So like that. Any other devotees also have some questions? Fine. We will continue from 26th onwards because last week we did up to 25. We will continue. Esha dinan dinasargo
एषदैनादिनासर्गो
ब्रह्मस्त्रैलोक्यवर्तना
ब्रह्मस्त्रैलोक्यवर्तनः
तिर्यनृ पितृदेवानां
तिर्यनृपितृदेवानां
संभवो यत्र कर्मभिः
संभवो यत्र कर्मभिः. Translation. In the creation during Brahma's day, the three planetary systems, Swarga, Martya and Patala, revolve, and the inhabitants, including the lower animals, human beings, demigods, and Pitas, appear and disappear in terms of their fruitive activities. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. The daily creation of Brahma involves producing the three worlds, Trilokya Vartana, in which the animals, humans, devatas appear according to their karmas. So whatever has been mentioned in the previous chapter, that is summarized in this verse. So every day morning, Brahma, what does he do? After performing tapasya, after having darshan of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, after offering prayers, after getting instructions, again he performs tapasya. Then he divides the lotus into 10, first 3 divisions and then 14 divisions and then many subdivisions. And then he populates all those divisions within the universe with the different variety of living entities, which primarily includes the animals, the human beings. And the first one is plants, second one animals, third one is human beings, and the fourth one will be Devata like superhuman beings. We discussed about 8 category of superhuman beings. All of them are created by Brahma and they appear according to their previous karmas and they continue to perform their activities according to their desires. This is the daily action of Brahma every day morning. Trilokya Vartana means the creation of the 3 worlds, the planets from Sarga down to Patala, because generally the residents of the upper lokas live the lifespan of Lord Brahma. So kindly remember this point. The living entities living in the 3 planetary systems, that means the below 10 planets, Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, and those beings living within lower 7 planetary systems, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Patala. Their lifespan is small. They at max they can live only for one manvantara period. None of them can exist beyond one manvantara period. And those people who can live beyond one manvantara, they live in Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. But among them, some great sages, the direct sons of Lord Brahma, Bhrugu, Vasishta, Pulaha, Kratu, Daksha, etc., the Narada Muni, 4 Kumaras, they live for the entire lifespan of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years and their lifespan is also 100 years. And the remaining people may live less time. So this is how we have to understand. Kindly remember this also. All the great sages such as Narada Muni, the 4 Kumaras, Bhrugu, Vasishta, Atri, Pulaha, Kratu, ityadi, they also live for the entire lifespan of Brahma. 100 full years of Brahma. They don't have death in between. Even though because of some reason we may read in the Bhagavatam Ramayana, sometimes they were cursed, they died again born. Matlab, they will be there in the same person. When we die, we change. Currently we are so and so, but in our next life we will be something different. But when these people, because of some reason, they may give up their body, but again they regain their body and then reinstate in their original position. Their names, forms won't change. So that is the understanding. So like that. Manvantareshu Bhagavan
Manvantareshu Bhagavan
Bibhrusatvam Samurtibhi
Bibrat Sattvam Swamurtibhi
Manvadibir Idam Vishwam
Manvadibir Idam Vishwam
Avati Udita Paurusha.
Avati Vudita Paurushaha. Translation: in each and every human, every change of Manu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears by manifesting his internal potency in different incarnations as Manu and others. Thus, he maintains the universe by discovering power.
In all the Manvantara periods, the Lord supporting material Satvaguna by his avatars and the Manus, thus revealing his form as a human, protects this universe. So this verse talks about the maintenance of the universe. So during every Manvantara period, the Lord appears in various forms, sometimes as Leela avatars, sometimes as Yuga avatars, sometimes as Shakti Avesh avatars, so that the Manvantara period is maintained properly. Dharma during that Manvantara period is maintained properly. So it takes the help of Indra and other devatas, Manu and Manuputras, the ruling kings, and also the Saptarishis and great sages. So with their help, under the mode of goodness, he maintains the entire universe, consisting of different variety of living entities. Swamurtibhi means by his various avatars such as Lila avatars and Manvantara avatars and Yuga avatars, etc. Udita Paurusha means manifested human form. Sometimes Lord appears as a human being, like Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, like that. And even Lord Prutu, Lord Ambarish Maharaj, and many forms in the Bhagavatam we read. So like that. Manavo Manaputrascha Muniyascha Mahipate Indra Suraganas Sarve Purusha Shasana Manu Adayo Jagad Yatram Nayanti Adibhi Prachodita. The Manus, the sons of Manu, the great sages, the Indras, and all the other Devatas, O King, are under the control of the Supreme Lord, Manvantara Avatara. The Manus and others are chosen by the incarnations, under whose direction they conduct the universal affair. So all these people, the Manu, the sons of Manu, the ruling kings, the Saptarishis and the other great sages, Indra and all the Devatas, they maintain the entire universe under the supervision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So like that. Tamo matram upadaya
Tamo Matram Upadaya
prati samruddha vikramaha
Pati Samruddha Vikramaha
कालेनानुगता शेषा
Kalenanugata Sesa
आस्ते तूष्णीं दिनात्यये.
Aste Tusnim Dinatyaye. Translation: at the end of the day, under the insignificant portion of the mode of darkness, the powerful manifestation of the universe merges in the darkness of night. By the influence of eternal time, the innumerable living entities remain merged in that dissolution, and everything is silent.
Yeah. Okay, before reading this one, I'll just give you the connection. So in the 26th, 25th verse and all, there is about creation. At the beginning of every day, Lord Brahma creates the plants, animals, human beings, and the superhuman beings, and which populate the entire universe that is there. And throughout the day, the Manvantara, there are 14 Manvantaras are there. In each Manvantara, the Manvanta Avatara will taking the help of the Manu, the Manuputras, the Saptarishis and other great sages, Indra and all other devatas, takes care of the maintenance of the universe. This happens every Manvantara, Manvantara after Manvantara, because these people specifically change after every Manvantara. That's how it is indicated. So one Manvantara will be maintained by some people, second Manvantara some other people, third Manvantara some other people. Like that, 14 times it happens. And after the completion of the 14 such Manvantaras, at the end of the day, Lord Shiva destroys everything that has been created by Brahma, everything that has been maintained by Brahma will be destroyed by Lord Shiva at the end of Brahma's day. That is mentioned in the text number 28. How? By taking shelter of Rajoguna, Brahma creates. By taking shelter of Sattvaguna, Vishnu maintains. And by taking shelter of Tamoguna, Shiva destroys. So in that way, accepting a small portion of darkness through a form of Lord Shiva, Kalagni Rudra. The destroyer is called as Kalagni Rudra, who covers the three worlds with fire and merging the jivas of the three worlds in his body. The Lord remains silent at the end of the day. Okay, so here you see, this verse describes the situation during the Brahma's night. Accepting a small, see here who is accepting? Here at least we should understand that the one who is doing this activity is known as Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu. It is Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu. From his navel only appeared a lotus. On top of that lotus, Brahma appears. So Brahma appeared from Garbhodaka Vishnu. And we also saw in the previous chapter, I think 8th chapter, when the lotus appeared from Garbhodaka Vishnu, it was still, it is not doing anything. Then Garbhodaka Vishnu expands the Kshirodaka Vishnu, enters into that lotus and becomes its Paramatma. Then Brahma appears on top of that. So Kshirodaka Vishnu also appeared from Garbhodaka Vishnu. And then later on, in the next chapter, in the next class, we will discuss about how the 11 Rudras appeared from Brahma's forehead. So they appeared from Brahma, but in another sense, since Brahma appeared from Garbhodaka Vishnu, Rudras also appeared from Garbhodaka Vishnu. Like that is taken. So we'll get the complete information in the 12th chapter about how Rudras appeared and what they are doing and all. But generally, the main service of Rudras is to destroy. And at the end of the day of Brahma, actually what happens is the entire Bhumandala is held upon the hoods of Lord Shesha, Adishesha. His other name is Lord Sankarshana. So Lord Sankarshana is an expansion of Karnadaksha Vishnu. So Sankarshana is holding the entire Bhumandala upon his hoods. So since he was holding the Bhumandala, he was hoping that okay, the residents of the Bhumandala will practice bhakti and go back to Godhead. But none of them are taking seriously. The Lord is taking so much pain to hold the entire Bhumandala so that the Bhumandala does not fall into Garbhodaka ocean. And as a result of that, the people living on the Bhumandala can practice bhakti and go back to Godhead. But they are not taking seriously. He becomes angry, 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 angry. The anger builds up. At the end of the day, it becomes intolerable. When Shesha becomes very angry, from his forehead comes the same 11 Rudras once again for the purpose of destruction. The 11 Rudras who appeared because of the anger of Lord Sankarshana, they are also very angry. And then they open their third eye. Each of the 11 Rudras open their third eye. Matlab 11 Rudras opening their 11 third eyes. And that produces intense fire, which will destroy the lower side 10 planetary systems. Bhuloka, Bhurloka, Swargaloka, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala. Matlab every living entity who are living in all these lokas are burnt to ashes. All the human beings are animals, plants, devatas, everyone is burnt to ashes. Their gross bodies are burnt to ashes. All the water that is there on the surface of the earth will be evaporated and becomes huge clouds in the sky. There was no one living. So all these living entities who are bereft of their gross bodies, they all enter into the body of Garbhodaka Vishnu within the Garbhodaka ocean. And they all take rest for the next entire night of Brahma, for the next 1000 Chaturyugas. And the next day, again there is a lotus appearing from Garbhodaka Vishnu's navel, and Brahma appears on top of that. Then Brahma divides that lotus into 14 lokas, and then Brahma creates the bodies for all the jivas who entered into the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu with their subtle bodies. So Brahma manufactured their subtle bodies. Then the living entities begins to perform their respective pending activities according to their karma and desire, etc. That is the overall this thing. So this verse is talking about how by taking the shape of Kalagni Rudra, that means the 11 Kalagni Rudras who appeared from the Brukuti of Lord Sankarsana, who was holding the entire Bhumandala, they become very angry, they open their eyes. From their eyes comes huge fire. That fire burns all of us. Bhurloka, Sargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, not Maharloka. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Satal, Patal. The Niche, 7 lokas and Boloka, Bolo, Sarga, 10 lokas. That is explained in this verse. And all the people will enter into Garbhodaksha Vishnu's body and take rest there. Kalagni Rudra, accepting a small portion of darkness for destroying the 3 worlds through the form of Kalagni Rudra, having destroyed Bhuloka, Bhurloka, Sargaloka. When we say Bhuloka, Bhuloka also includes the lower 7 planetary systems, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Satal, Matala, Patal, etc. Covering them with fire and other elements, mainly fire. First fire, then water will come. The water thing we'll discuss in the next verse. As I mentioned, because of the fire, the water from all over the surface of the Bhumandala and other lokas, it enters into the ether. It forms huge clouds. So this phenomena goes for 100 years. There is a continuous fire only, no without rain for 100 years. Who will survive 100 years? I don't think so. Anybody. Even though one may be in the caves and underground and all, still no one can survive 100 years. Everyone will die. The Lord also makes the jivas of the 3 worlds merge into him. So then all the jivas with their subtle body enter into the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. He remained silent in the sense that he stopped the pastime of displaying the material realm. It was previously mentioned that Vikarma means Bhuloka, Bhurloka, Sargaloka. In 267 also he mentioned that these Truloka residents will enter into the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and Garbhodaksha Vishnu also enters into deep sleep, and there will be no activities in the material world. So like that. So kindly follow this sequence of events, how it is happening, because we may have so much confusion about what's happening and how it is happening, etc. So it is like that. Lord Sankarsana, who was holding the Bhumandala, becomes angry because we are not taking Bhakti seriously and going back to Godhead. We want to enjoy here only. At the end of the day, Brahma becomes so angry. From that anger comes 11 Rudras from his Brukti. The 11 Rudras are also very angry. They open their third eye. From that comes huge fire, and that fire burns all the 10 lokas, starting from Patala all the way up to Sargaloka. Everyone's grass body is burned to ashes, and all the water element evaporated and enter into the sky and becomes clouds, and all the living entities along with the subtle body enter into the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu to take rest for the next 1000 Chaturyugas, for the entire night of. So it's like that. Tamevanu apidiyante
तमेवानपि दीयन्ते
loka bhuradayasत्रया
लोका भूरादयास्त्रया
nishayam anuvrittayam
निशायाम् अनुवृत्तायाम्
nirmukta shashibhaskaram.
निर्मुक्त शशिभास्करम्. Translation: When the night of Brahma ensues, all the 3 worlds are out of night, and the sun and the moon are without glare, just as in the due course of an ordinary night. Hare Krishna.
Conforming to that, the 3 worlds disappear. In the night which follows, that condition is divide of sun and moon. So this point we will discuss 2 verses later. How and what happens exactly, 2 verses later it is clearly mentioned. So kindly remember this. So since all the living entities entered into the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, similarly all the planets also enter into the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu and they take rest for the entire night of Brahma. Conforming to that, the 3 worlds disappear by the destruction caused first by fire and then by water that condition is divided by sun and moon. This point we will discuss in the next coming verses. त्रैलोक्यां दद्यमानायां
त्रिलोक्यां दह्यमानायां
शक्त्या संकर्षणाग्निना
सत्या संकर्ष अग्निना
यान्ति ऊष्मानमहर्लोकात्
यान्ति उष्मणा महर्लोका
जनं भृगु आदयोर्दिता.
जनं भृगु आदयोर्दितः. Translation: The devastation takes place due to the fire emanating from the mouth of Sankarshan, and thus great sages like Bhrigu and other inhabitants of Maharloka transport themselves to Janaloka. Being distressed by the warmth of the blazing fire which rages through the three worlds below. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, as I just mentioned, it is indicated here. When the three worlds are burned by the powerful fire emanating from Lord Sankarshana. Though in the Bhagavatam we see that Lord Sankarshana's mouth fire is coming, but the understanding is that from Sankarshana's Bhrukuti comes the 11 Rudras. When the 11 Rudras open their third eyes, from there the fire comes. So in one sense, since the 11 Rudras are produced from Sankarshana, the fire is said to be produced from Lord Sankarshana. The sages headed by Kanau. So when the fire is burning, Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka and Swargaloka, three lokas are burning by fire, and that fire is spreading throughout the universe. And this burning is also not for 1 day, 2 day. It goes on for 100 human years. Such a long time. 365 into 100. That means 36 lakh 500 human days. For that many days, it is burning, burning, burning. The fire goes all the way up to Maharloka. The sages who are living in Maharloka, unable to tolerate the heat produced by that fire, they leave Maharloka and go to Janaloka. This verse describes how the three worlds are destroyed. Lord Sankarshana, who becomes angry at the end of the day of Brahma, produces 11 Rudras, who by opening their third eye produces fire to burn the three worlds. So this information is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam 525. So when you read this chapter later on, you will understand it clearly. But anyway, now I have mentioned how it has happened. So the sages went to Maharloka. Then what happened? Tavat tribunam sadhya
तावत् त्रिभुवन तावत् त्रिभुवनं सद्यः
kalpantayidita sindava
कल्पान्तैदितसिन्धवः
plavayanti uktapota
प्लावयन्ति उत्कतापोत
chandravatelitoormaya.
छन्दवातेरितोर्मयः. Translation: At the beginning of the devastation, all the seas overflow and hurricane winds blow very violently. Thus, the waves of the seas become ferocious, and in no time, all the three worlds are full of water.
Yeah. See, as I mentioned, from 11 Rudra's third eyes, huge fire comes. That fire burns all our gross bodies, and all the water bodies are evaporated from the surface of the earth, and they go to sky. The entire sky is filled with so many clouds. This firing thing will continue for 100 years. Afterwards, the sky is filled with so many clouds that the sky downpours water, and the rains also will continue for 100 years. Even nowadays, we can see that sometimes unexpectedly, suddenly, some huge rain comes, and there is a flood. The entire city, villages, this, that are gone in flood. If just because such kind of rain is there only for 1/4 a day, some 3 to 4 hours only, such kind of thing is happening, uncontrollable things. If the rains continue for 100 years without any disturbance, then what will happen? It is said that the entire Bhuloka, along with the 7 lower planetary systems, Bhuvarloka and Svargaloka, all are filled with water, and eventually all these 3 plus 7, 10 lokas are submerged into Garbhodaka ocean. Because they are filled with so much water, they can't stay anymore. They all enter into Garbhodaka ocean, and then they enter into Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So 10 lokas have entered into Garbhodakshai Vishnu. This is what happened. This is how the 10 lokas are destroyed at the end of the day by Lord Sankarshana, and also by 11 Rudras, by fire and water elements. First there is heat by fire for 100 years, it burns everything. After everyone died, then there is a huge rain for 100 years, everything will be submerged, and because of the heavy weight of the water, all the 3 lokas will submerge into Garbhodaka ocean. All the 3 lokas will include sun, moon, and etc. And all the grahas are also submerged into Garbhodaka ocean. Then afterwards, there is no sun, there is no moon, there is no light, sunlight, moonlight, etc. Even all the stars are also submerged into Garbhodaka ocean, because all the stars are also part of Bhuvarloka and Sargaloka. They also submerge into Garbhodaka ocean. So that is understand. Immediately, quickly, the 3 worlds are burnt up. The burning continues for 100 years. Then there are rains for 100 years. As a result of that, the oceans are greatly disturbed and have waves blown out by strong winds. By the combined result of both fire and water, the 3 worlds along with the 7 lower planetary systems, 7 Bila Swarga Sachadatala, all submerge into Garbhodaka ocean. So 10 lokas are destroyed completely. First by fire, then by water. No sun, no moon, no Atala, Vitala, Tutala, Tata, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala, Bhuloka, Bhurloka, Sargaloka, Gayab ho gaya sab kuch. So every living entity living in these 10 lokas, and all the 10 lokas enter into the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So one second. I just want to complete one more point, then we'll take questions. Yeah, though it is not mentioned in the shlokas. So now what we saw, the sages who are living in Maharloka, unable to tolerate the heat coming from the Niche 10 lokas, they goes to Janaloka. The fire comes there also. Fire matlab heat comes there also, and both of them will go to Tapaloka, and fire comes there also. And 3 of them, the residents of Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, they go to Satyaloka. The fire even comes to Satyaloka. Unable to tolerate that fire, Lord Brahma takes all of them, and all of them also enter into the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. They also take rest within the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu for the entire night of Brahma. As Brahma and all other residents of 4 upper lokas, they enter into Garbhodakshai Vishnu, their 4 abodes also enter into Garbhodakshai Vishnu, following them. So in this way, all the 14 lokas are destroyed at the end of the day of Brahma, or at the end of 1000 Chaturyugas or 14 Manvantara periods. This is how, at the beginning of the day, Lord Brahma creates 14 lokas. Throughout the day, Lord Vishnu maintains them through Manvantara period, through Manvantara system. And then at the end of the day, Lord Shiva destroys all the 14 lokas. Though 11 Rudras are doing, but we attribute it to Lord Shiva, one among them, one among the 11. So this is the general procedure that is happening every day, morning, evening, and day throughout the day. Yes, Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी, ये जब जितने भी जीव है वो उनका भौतिक शरीर तो नाश होगा, तो आत्मा के रूप में ही अंदर जाते होंगे ना, सूक्ष्म शरीर के साथ।
See, I mentioned just now, the living entities up to Swargaloka, along with their subtle bodies, they enter into the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Because their gross bodies are burnt to ashes by fire. But in the upper 4 lokas, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, they enter, if at all they have some gross body, they enter along with their gross body. Then nothing happens to their gross body. These are great sages, so they enter in their self-same bodies as it is.
और प्रभु जी ये
So like that.
पृथ्वी है, स्वर्ग लोग है, ये सब स्थान है, सब जगह, तो वो स्थान भी उसके साथ चले जाते हैं।
हाँ वही बोल रहा हूँ ना, इतना बारिश आएगा, पानी इतना ज्यादा होके पानी में गर्भोदक सागर में डूब जाएगा।
अच्छा, सभी चला जाएगा मीन्स।
हाँ यस यस। हाँ माता जी, so I saw last time also, see when you are logging in na, you write your name, so if the name is appearing as meeting guest, if the name is not there you will not get attendance. So
हाँ
other
हाँ
devotees also, when you are all joining, kindly write your name somewhere. If it is some general name, I will not be able to identify who is he, so who is he or she, attendance will not be given. So in that way.
ओके, आई विल राइट डाउन नाउ।
Yeah. Any other devotees have any question in relation to this process of creation, maintenance, and annihilation?
प्रभु जी हरे कृष्णा नंदत था।
हाँ हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
प्रभु जी एक्चुअली इससे रिलेटेड नहीं है, पर 14 प्लैनेट्स है उनसे रिलेटेड है ना आज।
हाँ I mentioned na, the 10 lokas are burnt by the fire, then submerged by water. As a result of that, they drowned into Garbhodak ocean. The upper 4 lokas on their own they enter into Garbhodak sagar along with the residents.
प्रभु जी हम लोग कहते हैं कि अगर जो भी पाप कर्म करते हैं दे गो टू हेलिश प्लैनेट, तो हेलिश
हाँ।
प्लैनेट्स ये जो है सप्त पाताल आर दीज हेलिश प्लैनेट्स?
No no,
और
Sapta Patala are not hellish planets. Hell is a separate place. Hell is located below Patala Loka. It is entirely a separate Loka. Sapta Pasalas are like us only. Just like we have India, America, Japan, Europe, like that Saptapalas are also 7 lokas.
ओके, तो प्रभु जी जब 14 लोगों का ये करते हैं, जिक्र करते हैं, हम कभी हेलिश प्लैनेट्स का ज्यादा जिक्र नहीं आता है, इसलिए मुझे थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन था कि ये हेलिश प्लैनेट है। जब ये सब होता है पूरा डिस्ट्रक्शन होता है, तो हेलिश प्लैनेट्स भी डिस्ट्रैक्ट होते होंगे ना प्रभु जी?
Yes, yes. Hellish planets also will get destroyed at this time. They also will get destroyed.
ओके ओके, थैंक यू प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
हाँ yes Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hi, you mentioned that Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, they along with the abodes they enter the Lord, Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So these abodes
Yes.
are permanent, like the sages who live there,
See,
eternal.
abode तो वही पे
lokas?
रहेगा ना. See, just like the earth is also from our point of view. Currently, all of us are residing, living. You are living in Andheri or Taneware, wherever. So the Jaga will be there. After 50 years, somebody else will live like that. But here specifically, these places will be there again. But at this point of time, at the end of the day of Brahma, they are all entering into the Garbhodakshay Vishnu's body, and next day they all appear like a lotus. And Lord Brahma divide the lotus into 14 divisions and
14.
makes the 14 lokas. So like that.
Okay, 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 Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Other
Prabhuji.
devotees? Ah, yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, it is said that the dham of the lords are not drowned even in the pralaya. So all this Vrindavan and Jagannath Puri and all these will remain.
No, they won't remain. The one thing is that they are not physically destroyed like the other places are destroyed. That way you can understand. Matlab, they become unmanifest. Just like Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, they are not burnt to ashes. They naturally enter into the body of Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Like that, the holy places currently, see for example, see this is my understanding. See, currently we have something called Vrindavan. But Vrindavan exists in 2 phases. One is Prakata Vrindavan, other one is Aprakata Vrindavan.
Yeah.
Okay. The Prakata Vrindavan, the place we visit once in a while, it is as good as our place. Matlab, not from the potency point of view, but normal from the physical existence point of view, it is as like as Bombay. Bombay also we have homes, and Vrindavan also we have homes. This is Prakata Vrindavan. In the Prakata Vrindavan, all the human beings like us, all the animals, like they are living in our recently only living. But their consciousness may be elevated. From the consciousness point of view, There's a different understanding. Just like when the fire, when there is a forest fire, huge forest fire starting from Delhi, that fire is going ahead. Will it come to Vrindavan or not?
Yeah, it will.
Will it burn the houses in Vrindavan or not?
Yeah, it will.
That is understanding. The gross manifestation of Dham will go through the natural phenomena only. But there is something called Apparkata Vrindavan, wherein the Supreme Lord eternally exists. His Leelas are going on eternally. Because this Apparkata Vrindavan is not different from the spiritual Vrindavan. Whatever is happening in the spiritual Vrindavan is also happening in this Apparkata Vrindavan in an invisible way. Only a pure devotee has the access to it. He will be able to see them. That Apparkata Vrindavan is not subjected to this physical phenomena, burning or drowning, etc. That is anyway already Aprakata, so it will not subjected to any physical phenomena. So this is my understanding. So from that way we can say that nothing will happen to this Aprakata Vrindavan. It is neither destroyed nor annihilated or anything like that. It will eternally existing. Because in anyway it is Aprakata only. So it is existing eternally. But it is not like
Hare
that, it is
Krishna,
not drowned
Prabhuji.
and all. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Regarding the
One
11
second.
Rudras.
One second. Mataji, is
Yes.
it clear?
Yeah,
Hare
about
Krishna?
about Vrindavan it is clear, but what about Jagannath Puri and Badrinath and
That's what
Same.
you try to understand the concept. Don't get into place details and all. So the question is Jagannath Puri is superior or no, that kind of question comes.
no, Prabhuji, because it is said na ki they don't get drowned up. So I wanted to
So
know
which
ki
one don't get round up? That's why I'm saying there are
the
two aspects to every
Dham of
dham.
the Lord, Dham of the Lord.
Dham of the Lord only, but dham of the Lord has two aspects. One is Prakata, other one is Aprakata. The Prakata dham, that dham we visit regularly, it is as good as Bombay. So it also gets burnt. But that Aprakata dham, in which the Nityalila of the Lord is going on, that nothing happens to that.
Okay, Prabhuji, I got it.
See, the devotees in their normal Bhagavatam classes, they say, in order to show the importance of a dham, when we visit a dham, they talk about all the glories of dham so that we become serious in the dham. We don't remain like in a sense gratificatory mode. So that was the idea behind that. But technical understanding is this. The prakata will go through the physical phenomena, but the aprakata aspect of the dham will remain spiritually intact. It will not subject to any physical phenomena.
Okay, yes, Prabhuji, I got it.
So it's like that.
Hare Krishna.
So this is applicable for any dham. May it be Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri, Dwaraka, Rishikesh, Kanchipuram, Tirupati, or any holy place. Every holy place always has two aspects, prakata aspects and aprakta aspect. Only with pure consciousness we can accept, we can get access to aprakata aspect of the dham. So without pure senses, without pure consciousness, we only access the prakata dham. So even that prakata dham also, from potency point of view, much better than other ordinary towns and villages. So in that way. Yes, Mataji. Malati Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just wanted to ask that 11 Rudras, you said they came from the forehead of Brahma. So I was under the impression they are Amsa of Lord Shiva. Sada Shiva,
Yes.
the main Shiva, Amsa of them,
Yes.
like how we have Amshas, like Amsha Avtaras, and that is how they are worshipped all over our country. So am I right in that aspect?
Yes. See, the 11 Rudras are expansion of Sadashiva. That is true. Sadashiva himself enters into our universe and appears in 11 Rudra forms. That is true. But their appearance is through Brahmaji.
Okay.
It's like that. Like Lord Krishna appears through Devaki Vasudev.
Okay. Brahma being the first creation, from him they appear. Okay.
We will discuss how they appear under in the next chapter. 12th chapter talks about the appearance of Rudras.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay.
फिर ये
हाँ, yes.
सदाशिव और विष्णु में कोई अंतर नहीं है प्रभु जी, तो वो तो जीव
अंतर
तत्व से
है,
उत्पन्न
अंतर है, तो जीव तत्व
हाँ।
नहीं, बट सदाशिव विष्णु दोनों समान भी है, अंतर भी है. We discussed this elaborately in the 5th chapter when Mahavishnu wanted to create. From his skin pores comes Prakriti or Pradhana or Dravya. Then Mahavishnu glances upon this Prakriti. That glance has Kala, Kala, Karma, Subhava and Jiva Tattva. That Kala is transformed as Sadashiva. So after exiting from the eyes of Mahavishnu, before contacting Prakriti, in between only that Kala transforms itself into Sadashiva, and that Sadashiva agitates Prakriti. Then Prakriti produces Mahatattva. Then from Mahatattva comes Ahankara. Ahankara comes mind, intelligence, pranas, karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, pancha mahabhutas, panchatanmatras. That was the systematic procedure. We discussed elaborately multiple times in the 3rd and 5th chapter. It was there in the 2nd and 5th chapter also.
प्रभु जी फिर वो तो संहार, सदाशिव तो संहार करते हैं ना, वो तमोगुण के अधिष्ठाता है।
See, Sadashiva संहार नहीं करते. Sadashiva is outside the universe. Sadashiva comes as the 11 Rudras inside our universe. The 11 Rudras संहार करते हैं. Sadashiva से कुछ लेना देना नहीं our ब्रह्मांड से. It always remains outside the universe. Sadashiva is the Lord of Brahman. Sadashiva is residing in Brahman. He is the Lord of Brahman. हम बोलते हैं ना ब्रह्म ज्योति ब्रह्म ज्योति ब्रह्म ज्योति. Sadashiva stays in Brahman. He resides in the Brahman. He takes care of those who goes to Brahman.
Okay, thank you प्रभु जी।
That's why most people all over India, even abroad also, those who want to attain Kaivalya, they generally worship Sadashiva or Lord Shiva or Sadashiva. In one sense, there is no difference between them. So they worship Lord Shiva because Lord Shiva is the Lord of Kaivalya.
तो जो निराकार रूप को भजते हैं वो सदाशिव के पास जाते हैं ऐसे?
हाँ, ब्राह्मण के बारे में उपासना करते हैं वो सदाशिव लोग जाते हैं. Okay. Any other devotees? Any other discussion points? So we need to complete this chapter today. Hare Krishna. Fine. Antasa tasmin salile.
अन्तसादस्मिन् सलिले
आस्ते अनंतासनो हरिः.
आस्ते अनन्तासनो हरिः
योगनिद्रा निमीलाक्ष.
योगनिद्रा निमीलाक्ष
स्तूयमानो जनालये.
स्तूयमानो जनालैः. Translation: The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, lays down in the water on the seat of Ananta with his eyes closed, and the inhabitants of the Janaloka planets offer their glorious prayers unto the Lord with folded hands.
Yeah. The Lord. Lord means Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Lying on Ananta remains in that water within Garbhodaka ocean with his eyes closed by Shakti called Yoga. He enters into Yoga Nidra. Okay, Yoga Nidra Nimilitaksha with eyes closed enters into Yoga Nidra while being praised by the sages inhabiting Janaloka. So while the Janaloka residents who went to Maharloka, Maharloka se Tapaloka, Tapaloka se Satyaloka, they all offering wonderful praise to Garbhodaksha Vishnu, they enter into Garbhodaksha Vishnu. As the Garbhodaksha Vishnu entering into Yoga Nidra. So just like night time after 9 o'clock, before we go to sleep, we put the Lord to rest. We offer sleeping prayers. So as the Lord is sleeping, we also sleep. Same thing is happening. As Lord Garbhodaksha Vishnu going to take rest, the sages of Janaloka, Maharloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka offering prayers, and then they also enter into Garbhodaksha Vishnu. They take rest. It's like that. The Lord has many expansions of his Shakti, starting with Vimala. The fifth Shakti is called Yoga. she takes the form of Nidra or sleep. The Lord's eyes are closed by his Shakti yoga in the form of Nidra. Jalayanai means the sages of Janaloka. The 16 energies are described by the Vaishnavas according to the scriptures. Bhakti Viveka and other works describe them as Shaktis. The 16 principal Shaktis are Sri Shakti, Bhu Shakti, Kirti Shakti, Ila Shakti, Leela Shakti, Kanti Shakti, Vidya Shakti, 7, and 9 others starting with Vimala. So they are known as Vimala, Utkarshini, Jnana, Kriya, Yoga, Prahavi, Satya, Ishana. All these energies are there at the Lord's service. They are always eager to serve the Lord in all various capacities. Here, Yoga Nidra during the night of Brahma, Yoga Nidra will manifest Nidra. So, Yoga Shakti will manifest Nidra. So, Lord enters into Yoga Nidra and all others will take rest during the night of Brahma. That is what happens. So, it is like this. Evam vidair ahoratrair.
एवं विदैर अहोरात्रैः
कालगत्योपलक्षिते
कालगत्योपलक्षितैः
अपक्षितम् इवस्यापि
अपक्षितम् इवश्यापि
परमायोर्वयसतम्.
परमायुर्वसतम्. Translation: Thus the process of the exhaustion of the duration of life exists for every for every one of the living beings, including Lord Brahma. One's life endures for only 100 years in terms of the times in the different planets.
So, like this, with the days and nights, Lord Brahma lives for a duration of 100 years. So, like that, Lord Brahma's 100 years also comes to an end. By such days and nights, characterized by the movements of time, even the maximum lifespan of Brahma, consisting of 100 years, comes to end. The life of even Brahma decays. So, in relation to this, Lord Brahma offers a prayer in the previous chapter 3:9-18, wherein he said, I fear time, even though I am situated in Brahmaloka, which is offered respects by all places and desiring to bring on time under control, I perform many sacrifices. That means, even Brahmaji, out of humility, says that with a desire to control time, bring time under control, I perform many sacrifices. But now in pure bhakti, I offer my respects to Supreme Lord, controller of sacrifice. But I have understood that I cannot control time. So let me offer my obeisance to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like that, Brahma understood that he cannot control time. He surrendered to Supreme Lord. That he said in the 9th chapter, 18th text. Even Brahma, fearing time, giving up enjoyment of material objects, worships the Lord constantly. Humans of short lifespan intensely enjoy material objects and do not worship the Lord. They must make efforts in bhakti and detachment. For that reason, it is necessary to describe the nature of time. The time has been described seriously in this chapter to indicate that even Brahma, who has such a long time, is never in relaxed state. He is always serious about his practice of bhakti. Then we, who are only living for few years, at max some 60, 70 years, how much serious we should be. This we should understand from reading this chapter. That is the essence of this chapter, like that our acharyas are saying. So, now kindly remember this. Brahma lives for 100 years. Vaya Shatam. The whole lifespan of Brahma is 100 years. And with reference to this only, the rest of the chapter talks. Everything in relation to Lord Brahma's 100 years. So remember that always. Yadardam ayushastasya
यदर्थम् आयुषस्तस्य
parardam abhidiyate
परार्धम् अभिधीयते
purva parardo apakranto
पूर्वापरार्धो पक्रांतो
हि अपरोध्य प्रवर्तते
हि अपरोध्य परावृते प्रावृते pravartate. Then translation: the 100 years of Brahma's life are divided into two parts, the first half and the second half. The first half of the duration of Lord Brahma's life is already over, and the second half is now current.
This verse describes how Brahma's life has been divided into two parts. A half of Brahma's life is called Parardha. The first Parardha has passed and the second Parardha has just begun at present. So Lord Brahma's total lifespan is 100 years. That has been divided into two parts, 250 years each. And that part is called as Parardha. So the first 50 years already passed and second 50 years just started. So currently Brahma is just completed 50 years. The 51st year, first month, first day has just started. That is what is indicated here. पूर्वस्यादौ परार्धस्य ब्रह्मो नामा महानभूत् कल्पो यत्राभवत् ब्रह्मा शप्रब्रह्मेति यन्विदु. Please read the translation.
In the beginning of the first half of the Brahma's life, there was a millennium called Brahmakalpa, wherein Lord Brahma appeared. The birth of the Vedas was simultaneous with Brahma's birth. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So Brahma lives for total 100 years, out of which there are two parts, first 50 years, second 50 years. First 50 years is called as Purva Parardha, second 50 years is called as Para Parardha, of which first 50 years already completed, second 50 years just started, and from the first 50 years, the very first day where Brahma appeared from the lotus, where Brahma took birth, that day is called as Brahma Kalpa. That is what is indicated here. In the beginning of the first half of Brahma's life, Purva Parardha, Purva means the first half, there was a millennium called Brahma Kalpa, wherein Lord Brahma appeared along with the Vedas. So the very first day in the first Parardha is called as Brahma Kalpa, because the day Lord Brahma appeared, it is called Brahma Kalpa. As described in the Prabhasa Kanda, this is from Padma Purana, there are 30 days starting with the waxing Shukla Pratipatiti and ending with the dark moon Tithi, with name starting with Shweta Varaha Kalpa and ending with Pitru Kalpa. This makes 1 month of Brahma. So we saw about Brahma's day. One day lasts for 1000 Chaturyugas and one night also lasts for 1000 Chaturyugas. So like that Brahma has 30 days in his month. So the 30 days are called as Pratipad, Dvitiya, Tritiya, Chaturthi. This is one way of telling them. And also they have a names. The first day is called Shweta Varaha Kalpa, because every month during the first day of Brahma, Lord appears as Shweta Varaha at the very beginning of the day. So white Varaha. That's why it is called Shweta Varaha Kalpa. And the last day, the 30th day, which is Amavasya, it is called Pitru Kalpa. So Amavasya is mainly meant for the worship of Pitrus. Even in the Bhadrapada Masa, next Paksha, what we are going to get is called Pitru Paksha, I suppose. Yesterday was Ashtami, Radhashtami. Today Navami. Tomorrow is what we call Dashami. Then there is Ekadashi, Dadashi, Trayadashi, Chaturdashi, Paurnami. The day after Paurnami, the Pitru Paksha starts. The 15 days are dedicated for the worship of the Pitru Devatas and culminating in Amavasya. Amavasya is generally meant for Pitrus. That's why even Brahma's day, which is like Amavasya day, it is called Pitru Kalpa. So like that. And Pratipad is called Shwetavaraha Kalpa. So this makes 1 month of Brahma. These months are repeated 12 times to make 1 year. So 12 such months is 1 year. And 50 of those years is called a Parardha. The first day in the first Parardha is called Brahma Kalpa or Varaha Kalpa. The very first day, at the very beginning of Brahma's birth, which was described in the second canto 9th chapter. Second canto 9th chapter talks about Brahma Kalpa. where Brahma appeared for the first time, performed tapasya, then he had darshan of Mahavishnu, then he made some inquiries to Lord Narayana, and Lord Narayana spoke Chetishloki Bhagavatam. That happened during the very first day of Brahma, that is called Brahma Kalpa. And also day wise it is called Varaha Kalpa, but the very first day, every month the first day is called Varaha Kalpa, but for the first day of the first month of the first year Brahma appeared, that's why it is called Brahma Kalpa also. It is called Brahma Kalpa because it is Brahma's birth tithi. It is described in the astronomical scriptures as occurring on the Shukla Pratipad of Chaitra month. We always celebrate Janmashtami, Radhashtami, Balram Jayanti, Ramnavami, Narsimha Jayanti, Vamana Jayanti. Like that, every Lord ke liye we have appearance day. For Lord Shiva, we may not have birth tithi, but at least we celebrate Mahashivaratri. Some call Mahashivratri at the birthday of Lord Shiva. Some call Mahashivratri at the marriage day of Lord Shiva and Parvati. Some call Mahashivratri at the day of deliverance of one of Lord Shiva's devotee. There are various things are there. At least, okay, let us take it is birthday of Lord Shiva, Mahashivratri. Then what about Brahma's birthday? We can celebrate Brahma's birthday on every year, Shukla Pratipad of Chaitra Mas. Chaitra Shukla Pratipad. In Maharashtra, we celebrate it as Gudi Padva. In Telangana, Andhra, we celebrate, and Karnataka, we celebrate as Ugadi. So that day, we can actually have Brahma's birthday celebration. But because of Bhrugumuni curse, we are not supposed to worship Brahma, so we don't worship him. But technically, we can say it as the birthday of Lord Brahma. Chaitra Shukla Pratipad, which is Gudi Padva for our nomenclature. So like that. I think everyone knows Gudi Padva in Mumbai, even though some of you may not be living in Mumbai. We came to Mumbai, but all of you must have heard about Gudi Padva. That is Brahma's birthday. That way. Tassaiva chante kalpo bhut yam padmam abhichakshate yaddarer nabi rasasa asil loka saroruham. Sorry, Prabhuji, we just will try to complete this chapter, so I am reciting myself only, just to save some time. You can read the translation.
The millennium which followed the first Brahma millennium is known as the Padmakalpa, because in that millennium the universal lotus flower grew out of the navel reservoir of water of the personality of Godhead Hari. Hare Krishna.
So, here, this verse and next verse, there is a discussion about the grammatical understanding of these shlokas. The previous verse talked about Padma Kalpa. No, not Padma Kalpa. They talked about Brahma Kalpa. Purva Asyado Parardasya. So, from the first Pararda, there is Brahmo Nama Mahanabodh. Brahma appeared. The Kalpa on which Brahma appeared is called as Brahma Kalpa. That means the very first day of Brahma's lifespan is called as Brahma Kalpa. Technically, supposed to called as Shvetavara Kalpa, but still it is also called Brahma Kalpa because Brahma appeared. That is one thing. And then now it is mentioned, Tasya Eva Chante. Tasya Eva. Eva means certainly, that also. Tasya Eva indicates that Brahma Kalpa also can be called as Padma Kalpa, because during that day, from the Lord is Nabi. Yad Harer Nabihi Sarasa Asillola Saroruham. From the Nabi of Lord Hari appeared Saroruham, lotus. From that lotus appeared all the lokas, the 14 lokas. That's why Tasya Eva, that Brahmakalpa, the very first day also can be called as Padmakalpa. Padmam Abhikshate. So it can also be called as Padmakalpa. And here you see, Tasya Ante. Tasya Eva means the first day can be called as Padmakalpa. Tasya Ante Kalpo. The Kalpa just after that particular day of Brahma, which is known as Brahma Kalpa, can be called as Padma Kalpa. That means the second day of Brahma can be called as Padma Kalpa. So this is the one some people understand. And some people say Tasyaiva Chante. Tasya. If you take Tasya to be Brahma Kalpa, So we are either calling Brahmakalpa to be Padmakalpa, or that second Kalpa, which is after Brahmakalpa, is all Padmakalpa. If you take Tasya as Purva Pararda, matlab first Pararda. So Tasyaiva Chante, the last day of the first Pararda, from the first Pararda which is mentioned in the previous verse, Ante Kalpo, the last day of Brahma in that first Pararda can also be called as Padmakalpa. That means the 50th year, 12th month, 30th day can also be called as Padmakalpa. Some people say like that, and some people say that Tasya Chante Kalpa. After the completion of the first Pararda, whatever Kalpa just started in the 51st year, the first day, first year Kalpa can also called as Padmakalpa. So in that way, they say that taking this Sanskrit word Tasya Eva Chante Kalpo, they say that the very first day is Padmakalpa, second day of Brahma is also Padmakalpa, the last day of the 50th year is also Padmakalpa, and the 51st year first day can also be called as Padmakalpa. In these 4 days, the lotus appeared from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Other days, whether lotus appeared or not, we don't know. And some Acharya say that it seems that other days lotus did not appear. But in these 4 days, lotus appeared. That's why these 4 days can also be called as Padmakalpa. Just like the first day can also be called as Brahmakalpa because Brahma appeared. So, but technically it is supposed to be called as Shvetavaraha Kalpa. It is also called as Padmakalpa. The second Kalpa, it has a name, but since lotus appeared from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's navel, can also called as Padmakalpa. The last day of the 50th year can also be called as Padmakalpa. The first day of the 51st year can also be called as Padmakalpa. Hare Krishna, somebody's mobile is ringing, please mute. Deepak Sahu Prabhu. The Kalpa at the end of the first half of Brahma's life is called Padmakalpa because the planets took the form of a lotus in the navel lake of the Lord. So like that. The Pitrikalpa, which occurs at the end of the first half of Brahma's life, is also called Padmakalpa. The very first day is called Padmakalpa, second day also called, the last day of the first Pararda can be called Padmakalpa, the next day also can be called as Pararda Kalpa. The reason why it is called Padma Kalpa is given. It is understood from the reason is because the planets took the form of a lotus in the navel lake of the Lord. So in these days, the navel from the navel of Lord Garbhodakshaya Vishnu appeared a lotus, and Brahma appeared from that lotus and divided the lotus into 14 divisions. So whether this is happening every day or not, we are not sure. But here at least they say that it appears only sometimes. From these verses, we can understand that sometimes the lotus appears, sometimes may not. Tasya eva cha ante kalpa can also be seen as the kalpa at the end of the first half of Brahma's life. Means the first day of Brahma's 51st year is called Padma Kalpa because on this day also all the planets appeared from the lotus as described in 3, 8 to 10. Third canto, chapter 8, 9, 10. Whatever we are discussing in the previous chapter, so they are all talking about lotus, lotus, lotus. So even today also can be called as Padma Kalpa. So like that. That is mentioned here now. I am tu Katita Kalpo Vidiyasyapi Bharata Varaha iti Vikhyato Yatra Chukaro Hari. Please read.
O
Translation.
descendant, the first millennium in the second half of the life of Brahma is also known as the Varaha millennium because the personality of Godhead appeared in the millennium as the hog incarnation.
Oh Vidura, the first day in the second half of Brahma's life is called Varaha Kalpa, during which the Lord Varaha appeared. The text describes the first day in the 51st year of Brahma, the second half of his life. So, this verse talks about the today. Aaj ka din, Lord Varaha appeared in the beginning. That's why it is called Shweta Varaha Kalpa. This Lord Varaha pastime mandal we will study in the 13th chapter. Very soon we are going to study that. We will understand how the whole pastime, how and when it happened, etc. There are some notes about this verse, so we'll not read through these notes because these are all just I explained whatever I explained till now in the previous verse. They are all there in this purport, so you can read afterwards. Thus, Padmakalpa can refer to the first or second day of Brahma's life, the very first day, very second day of his life, and the last day of the 50th year of his life, or the first day of his 51st year. So from these two slokas, we understand these 4 days can be called as Padmakalpas. Some say every day of Brahma can be called as Padmakalpa because uh, because the planets appear. He is not supposed to be there because the planets appear from a lotus appeared from Lord's navel. Some acharyas say that every day the lotus appears from Lord's navel, and Brahma appears on top of that. He divides the lotus into 14 divisions and creates the living entities. So every day can also be called as Padmakalpa. Not that only these 4 days. Every day, though it has its own particular name, they can also be called as Padmakalpa. This is some acharyas' understanding. So like that, different acharyas have different understanding. They are all summarized in the notes I have also mentioned. You can read through the notes afterwards when you study. So next, text number 38. Summary. Now whatever is mentioned in the next 4 verses all summary of what we have discussed till now. Kaloyam dviparardakyo निमेष उपचर्यते अव्याकृतस्यानन्तस्य हि अनादेर्जगदात्मनः. Please read the translation.
The duration of the two parts of Brahma's life, as above mentioned, is calculated to be equal to 1 nimesha, less than a second, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unchanging and unlimited and is the cause of all causes of the universe.
Yeah. The span of 2 parardas, the total lifespan of Brahma, the life of Lord Brahma, is represented by a moment of time for the Supreme Lord, who is beyond change, avyakritasya, without end, anantasya, without beginning, anadi, and the cause of the universe, Jagadatmana, Sarva Karana Karanam, Ishvara Paramakrishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadi Radhir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. This verse is same. Very minute and expansive measures of time have been described. Now the greatest extent of time is described. The 2 praradas, the total duration of Lord Brahma's life, is designated in the scriptures as the greatest measure of time. This is the maximum time that one can think of in this entire material manifestation. That is one lifespan of Brahma, Parammahan time. Though it is impossible to include all time, 2 parardas is only one moment for the Supreme Lord Mahavishnu, the soul of the universe. Then can anyone measure the lifespan of such a Lord in terms of seconds or other measurements of time? See now, just extrapolate. If we live for 100 years, how many times? Only a moment, a nimisha for the Supreme Lord. And nimisha is the time required to blink the eyes. Whatever time requires to close the eyes or open the eyes, that is called one nimisha. So, like that, how much time we live for 100 years? What is the ratio of 100 years divided by the time required just to close the eyes or open the eyes? One blinking of the eyes. That is the ratio. So, one eye blinking of Lord Mahavishnu is 100 years of Lord Brahma. Then, if worst case we think like that, what would be the lifespan of Mahavishnu? Can you imagine like that it is mentioned? No, no one can estimate. The measure of a second is figurative only. That makes the measure of second means this one, nimisha, the moment of time is only figurative. It would be much less than that also. Thus, Brahma Samhita says that the life of Brahma lasts only for one breath of Mahavishnu. So, Brahma Samhita in the Bhagavatam it is mentioned in terms of nimesha, but Brahma Samhita says one shwasa. Nivasita Kala Matavalamba Jivanti Loma Jagadandanata. Yeshvai Sanishvasita Kala Matavalamba. So Nivasita means exhalation. When Mahavishnu exhales, the universe are manifested and Brahma appears in the universe and performs all the activities, and the universe will stay for 100 years of Brahma. Then Lord inhales. All the universes along with all the living entities enter into the body of Mahavishnu. So Brahma's lifespan is equal to one breathing period of Mahavishnu. So like that. So the Brahma who arises from the air holes of the Lord live for one exhalation of breath of the Lord. Thus the lifespan of Brahma or all Brahmas is not even a second for the Lord or a breath of the Lord. Life of all Brahmas who appear when Lord breathes out and who disappear when Lord breathes in is not even a second for the Supreme Lord Mahavishnu. So after telling all the time divisions, after telling the entire lifespan of Brahma, and that lifespan of Brahma is compared to one nimisha, one breathing time period of Mahavishnu, then can anyone imagine what would be the lifespan of Brahma? Sir, what would be the lifespan of Mahavishnu? Like that, Lord's glories are established. It is indicative only because the Lord is divided the change caused by material time. Since the Lord is without beginning or end, this means He is beyond the divisions of time, such as seconds, minutes, days, and years. And this is because He is the soul of the universe. The cause of time and all other things is in the material world. He is beyond and is the source of time and other things in the material world. That's why, even though we may say that Brahma's lifespan is equal to one nimisha of the Lord or one breathing time period of the Lord, but still, Lord is beyond time. Lord is eternal. Like that. That is just to indicate where are we situated in comparison to Brahma and then Mahavishnu. Just to give that comparison, it is mentioned, but still Lord is beyond this comparison. Like that. Kaloyam Paramanadir Dviparardanta Ishvaraha Naiveshitim Prabhurdumna Ishvaro Dama Maninam. Time is the controller from the duration of a Paramanu to Brahma's complete lifespan of 2 Parardas. So time controls all of us with the smallest division of Paramanu time to the maximum division of Brahma's lifespan. Because though we may want to live here eternally, but we have lifespan. As soon as our lifespan is over, we have to forcefully die. Similarly, it is same for the Brahma also. Even if Brahma wants to live eternally here, he can't live. He also has a lifespan of 100 years. He can't live more than that. That's how time controls everyone. But time cannot control the Supreme Lord. Time controls even the inhabitants of Satyaloka. Time is controlled even Brahma, but not the Supreme Lord. So the Supreme Lord is beyond the control of time. This verse clarifies what has been presented. Bhumna means of the Supreme Lord. Dhama Maninam means of those qualified for Satyaloka. Even those who are living in Satyaloka, including Brahma, are controlled by the time, but not Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Karnodakshaya Vishnu. These personalities are not controlled by time. That is indicative of time. So, in the previous verses, there is a comparison of Mahavishnu and Brahma and all of us with reference to time. Brahma's one lifespan is equal to one Kshana of Mahavishnu, or Brahma's one lifespan is equal to one breathing time of Mahavishnu. There is a comparison between Mahavishnu and Brahmas. And now in the next two verses, there is a comparison of Mahavishnu and all the Brahmandas. So Mahavishnu creates unlimited Brahmandas. And what would be the size of a Brahmanda and the size of the Brahmanda in comparison to Mahavishnu, how much it will be. So this is to really help us understand how big Mahavishnu is. These two verses talks about that. Vaikarai sahito yukte Vishejadibhiravruta Andakosho Bahirayam Panchashatakoti Vistara Dashottaradhikairiyatra Pravishta Paramanuvat Lakshate Antargataschanne Kotisho hi Andarashaya. Kindly pay attention to this verse. This is one important verse in the entire Bhagavatam, at least in the third canto, this section, creation past time. Within 4 holes of Mahavishnu, the universe composed of 16 transformations and 8 elements. Our universe is made up of 24 elements. There are 16 transformations and 8 principal elements. earth, water, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, we may say like that. And the remaining 16, 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, 5 tanmatras, and mind, they are all part of this. Measuring 500 million yojanas. Our universe's internal diameter is 500 million yojanas. And this internal universe, consisting of 14 lokas, is covered by 7 layers of elements, which are made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, ahankara, mahatattva. The 7 layers, which are 10 times thicker than the previous layer, appear like a Paramanu. So our universe's internal diameter is this much, and it is covered by 7 layers, and each layer is 10 times thicker than this number. So if this is 500,000, the second layer will be 100,000, 1,000 million, that is 1 billion. The third layer will be 10 billion. The fourth layer will be 100 billion. The fifth layer will be 1,000 billion. 1,000 matlab 1 trillion, and 10 trillion, 100 trillion, and 1,000 trillion. Like that, they are all this put together. That is equal to 1 Paramanu in comparison to Mahavishnu. So what would be size of Paramanu in comparison to us? In terms of centimeters, millimeters, 1 Armstrong unit, something like that we say. Similarly, our one entire Brahmanda with all the coverings is like a Paramanu in comparison to Mahavishnu. So that will be the size of Mahavishnu. So like that, not only our universe is there, millions of other universes also exist within the Lord's force, appear small as well. So all the millions of universes situated in the skin pores of Mahavishnu appear like Paramanus. The Lord was described as the soul of the universe. Now he is described as the covering of the whole universe. Beginning with 8 elements, fire, 5 gross elements, Mahatattva, Ahankara, and Prakriti. The 8 elements are 5 gross elements, Ahankara, Mahatattva, and Prakriti. And 16 transformations are the 10 senses, mind, and 5 sense objects. The universe covered by 7 or 8 layers, including Prakriti, it is called 8 layers. When we divide Prakriti into 3 divisions, Sattvaguna, Rajoguna, Tamaguna, it becomes 7 plus 3, total 10 layers, such as the earth, Bahi Visheshadibir. Each 10 times thicker than the previous layer, appears small like a Paramanu. This is the case not only with one universe, but others as well. So here is Mahavishnu. These are unlimited universes, and each universe which has a size of Paramanu in comparison to Mahavishnu. So here is Mahavishnu and so many universes. This is our universe. The diameter which is mentioned about 500 million universes is from here to here. So within these layers, this is 500 million yojanas, and the layers have 10 times thicker than the previous one. So this is 500 million yojanas. The first layer made up of earth will be 500 this side, 500 this side. Total width is 1,000 million yojana, that is 1 billion yojana. The next one will be 10 billion yojana, 5 billion here, 5 billion, total 10 million. The third one will be 50 billion. Like that, each layer will be increasing. You see here. This is the Brahmanda's inner diameter, 500 million yojanas. The earth layer, one side 500, other side 500, total will be 1,000. The water layer 10,000, fire layer 100,000, 1,000, 1,000, 10,000, 1,000, 100,000, 1,000, like that. This is the 7th layer. This is the 8th layer is tamas, 9th layer is rajas, 10th layer is sattva. If we add all of them, the total diameter of the universe, our universe, is this much. This is 1.111 into 10 to the power of 12 million yojanas, or 10 to the power of 18 yojanas approximately. This is the diameter of our universe, and this much will be like a Paramanu for Mahavishnu. Then what would be the measurement of Mahavishnu? For example, with us only we can compare. 1 Paramanu is equal to 1 Armstrong unit, 10 to the power of minus 8 centimeters, something like that. And our size is about 1.5 meters. So we know the ratio between both of us. Same way, this is like 1 Paramanu. And then what would be the size of Mahavishnu? Just we need to find out what would the ratio between us and the Paramanu size. Our size is 150 centimeters and Paramanu size is 10 to the power of minus 8 centimeters. So what is the ratio? Ratio would be 150 divided by 10 to the power of minus 8. 1.5 into 10 to the power of 10. 1.5 into 10 to the power of 10. And multiply that with this thing. 10 to the power of 18 into 1.5 into 10 to the power of 10. So it would be 1.5 into 10 to the power of 28. That would be the size of Mahavishnu. Kindly imagine how much he must. This is also metaphorical. It is not necessarily exactly. So it's like that. So last verse for today. If some devotees have any questions, we'll immediately take after this verse. Sorry for keeping you late. Tadahuraksharam Brahma Sarval Karana Karanam Vishnurdama Param Sakshat Purushasya Mahatmanaha. That body of Mahavishnu, the supreme soul, that the Purusha is said to be the indestructible Brahman, the cause of all causes. So this unlimited body of Mahavishnu, which is about 1.5 into 10 to the power of 18 yojanas. Okay, it is even yojanas, it's not even kilometers. One yojana is equal to 13 kilometers. So that personality who is known as Mahavishnu is called as indestructible Brahma. Tad ahur aksharam Brahma. He is Parabrahma. He is Aksharam Brahma. We devotees call him as Mahavishnu, and the Jnanis and Yogis call him as Param Brahma or Akshara Brahma. And that is the side of this personality. So, in one sense, the all pervasive nature of Mahavishnu is called as Brahman, Akshara Brahma or Parabrahman. Lord Vishnu means Karnadakshay Vishnu. Dama means body. Since Samarkosha says Graha, Deha, Tvit, Prabhava, Dhamani. Amarkosha dictionary has different meanings for Dama. Dama means house, Gruha. Dama means body, Deha. Dama means glory, Tvit. Dama means power, Prabhava. So when the word Dama comes in Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, Dama can be known as Vaikunta. Dama means house or abode. Dama can stand for Vaikunta. Dama can mean body. Body means the personality. Lord Narayana, Mahavishnu, etc. is also called as Dhama. Dama means Tvit, glory. Glory means effulgence, means Brahman. Dama also means Brahman. And Prabhava means the power. The influence or effulgence, they are all called again Dhama. They are the different meanings of Dama. So Vishnu or Dama Param Sakshat Purushasya Mahatmana Aksharam Brahma. This particular Dhama, this particular body of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, this particular entire arena is called as Param Brahma. The body, the effulgence, the area is called as Param Brahma or Brahma Jyoti. So, yes, that's how we have discussed from chapter 10 to 11. We talked about there are total 10 times of creation, out of which 6 are done by Mahavishnu, 4 are done by Brahma, and there are 3 kinds of destructions: Nitya Pralaya, Naimitika Pralaya, and Prakritika Pralaya. We have already discussed them elaborately. So here the quick summary. Later on you can go through this notes. So this is Lord Brahma's 100 years of lifespan. Whatever we have discussed till now is, this is Brahma's 100 years of lifespan. That is equal to 311.04 trillion years, or 36,000 kalpas, or days of Brahma. This is Brahma's 100 years. So here Prakriti Srishti, before Brahma's birth happens Prakriti Srishti. After 100 years of Brahma happens Prakritika Pralaya. So out of which first 50 years are completed. So now currently we are the first day in the 51st year. This is first day in the 51st year. That is elaborated here. At the beginning of the Brahma's day, Naimitika Pralaya, Naimitika Srishti happens by Brahma himself. At the end of Brahma's day, Naimitika Pralaya happens by Shiva. And within this day of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantaras. These are the 14 Manvantaras. Currently, 6 Manvantaras already passed. Currently, we are in 7th Manvantara. So within this 7th Manvantara, there is continuously there is Nitya Srishti Nitya Pralaya. Every day people are living and people are dying. People are getting birth and dying. So Nitya Srishti Nitya Pralaya is happening here. You see, this is first 50 years, second 50 years, 51st year, first month, first day. Within that, there are 14 Manvantaras. 6 already completed, 7th one we are going through. Within that 7th Manvantara, Abhitak 27 Chaturyuga. One Manvantara will stay for 71 Chaturyugas. 27 Chaturyugas already completed. 20th Chaturyuga is running. In the 20th Chaturyuga, there are 4 Yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. These are timings. Satya, Treta, Dwapara already completed. And we are already in the current Kali Yuga. Actually, it was 5123 in the last year. Now it is 5124. In this Kali Yuga, which will last for 4,32,000 years, 5,124 years already completed. We are currently running in 512425 year. 5125th year currently running. 24 years already passed. 25th year is running. This is the time, and this time, this 100 years of Brahma, which is 311 trillion years, is one kshana, one breathing time of Mahavishnu. Hare Krishna. This is time. Oh, sorry, we are very late. So, okay. Hare Krishna, all the devotees are there.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So, if there are no questions, we'll stop here and request all the devotees to go through the notes seriously. So, this is important actually. All of us should have some basic understanding this time divisions and all, so that we can have a background understanding properly, so that rest of the Bhagavatam becomes systematic. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय.
Jai.
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
Jai.
Jai.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की जय.
Jai.